Welcome to our stand at the Casambi Summit 2023. Today, we want to talk about our portfolio of screens for Casambi ecosystem. In addition, this year, we will present our new SCADA specific for the control of Casambi network. Don't miss it. We start. In the Casambi world, there are two different systems to connect to the networks, the Casambi app and our HMI. The first option is using the standard Casambi software. As you can see on this slide, this is the simplest option. An Adquio screen runs the standard Casambi application and controls the Casambi network through its own Bluetooth. In the middle, you can see the same system, but this time using the gateway function of the Casambi application. This option, in addition to controlling the network via Bluetooth, also sends the data to the Casambi API to allow remote control of this installation. In the third scenario, in addition to what was explained before, PMS is fed to obtain all information, both from historical data and in real time. This option uses only the Casambi software. In these cases, the customer directly uses this software to interact with their lighting system. It's important to point out that these last two options need the internet connection to be able to work remotely, but not to work locally. The second option is to use our HMI, which allows us to design scenarios fully adapted to the customer's needs. As a first option, we see a simple network, a listener gateway to connect via Bluetooth to a single Casambi network, and a control screen with our HMI control software. This software can work with Casambi networks once these networks are already configured. Therefore, to configure and provision Casambi networks, it is also necessary to use the standard Casambi software. Our HMI software works on the already configured network. Additionally, in this example, we see an Adquio Mini that is active. First, as a server for the display, and second, as a data collector through the listener gateway. This system is fully scalable. On the right, we have a similar scenario but with 3 Casambi networks. This is scalable to any number of Casambi networks. We just need to change the controller. From 4 or 6 Casambi networks, depending on the number of devices, Adquio Lite or Adquio Mini controllers are no longer suitable. We should move to an Adquio microserver, and if the network exceeds 30, we must change to an Adquio server for real-time control. So let's talk about the benefits of using our HMI for Casambi networks. First of all, we only need an alternative HMI if the customer asks for features that Casambi software cannot provide, such as creating a custom design interface with the controls only that the customer needs, or putting the logo on the screen. It is also important to note that with this software, it is possible to manage different user profiles, with different permission and limited access to different controls on the screen. Another feature that this HMI supports is the use of screensavers. Additionally, by having an Android screen, you can run any other software that works on Android and switch between one application and another. You will see that when you return to the HMI application, it still works and continues to maintain the connection to the network. As a last point, note that with this HMI, you can generate as many control screens as you need. You have no limit on the number of controls you can place it or the number of screens you can design. You can put controls to jump from one screen to another. Well, once said that, let's talk about our 3 control screens. Adquio Screen 10.1 inches has specific features to keep running 24/7. Therefore, it has a long-lasting LED backlight that will allow us to work with it for years. It is designed to be fixed on the wall and can be powered through PoE technology. It is a very fast screen in the execution of software, both running the standard Casambi application as our HMI. You will see that it's immediate in any execution, in any action you ask. If you need it, it can act as a gateway for Casambi, using its internet connection and Bluetooth interface. In addition, it includes the latest technologies in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5. Our Adquio Industrial Screen 12.1 inches is designed for industrial environments. It has a front with IP65 protection and is made of aluminum and steel. There are two alternatives to place it. The first is with a VESA bracket directly on the wall, and the second inserted by making a cut in the door, for example, of an electrical panel. It includes the support for both types of fixed section. Like the previous model, it executes both the standard Casambi application and our HMI quickly and efficiently. If you need it, you can use it as a gateway for Casambi. In addition, it is important to note that this screen model has an outdoor antenna, which allows you to place it in any positions to improve coverage. As in the previous case, it includes Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5. And finally, in this category, our 17.1 inches industrial screen. This screen is new in our ecosystem, and we are presenting it precisely at this event. It is similar to the previous model, but you can enjoy both the HMI and the Casambi application interface in 17 inches. Otherwise, it has the same feature as the 12-inch screens. Since it has an IP65 front, it is designed for continuous use and so on. Here we have our Adquio SCADA server. This is a new product that we are launching in this Casambi Summit 2023. And it is designed to control any installation in which Adquio is working as a controller. The main feature of this new Adquio SCADA servers are: it is designed to use any Adquio as a data source for the objects that we will put on the screen. It uses a web interface to display SCADAs, therefore you will only need a web browser to be able to enjoy all the content of these SCADAs. You will see that you can design any type of object, circles, squares, or any other type of figure. You can upload your own objects too. Above all, you can make these objects dynamic by connecting them to the variables of your devices. For example, you can change the color based on the content of a variable. You can change their position. You can use the pre-designed objects that the SCADA itself already incorporates, such as buttons, sliders, and connect them to the variables of your controller. And from the screen, then modify values in real time of your installation. In this way, we have two types of controls. One, to visualize the status of your installation, and another, to interact with it through controls within the SCADA itself. As you work with a web interface, we recommend that up to 30 simultaneous clients be used against this SCADA. These 30 people can open a web browser and connect to the SCADA to enjoy this content. Another very important part is that this SCADA works totally locally. Uses one of the Adquio controllers as a data source, and it works serving the data through its local web server. Therefore, it does not need internet to be able to work. And last but not least, this is a one-time paid product. Consequently, you pay it once and enjoy it forever. It has no recurring payments. Next, we will see the architecture that we will use for the presentation from right to left. First, you can see one or more screens in which we will visualize the SCADA. This screen will be served by an Adquio microserver running the Adquio SCADA server software. This Adquio SCADA server, as you can see, will be taking the data from an Adquio Lite, and this Adquio Lite will be connected to a Casambi network using its API, although it could also be connected through a local integration. Additionally, we have an Adquio screen control also connected to this Adquio Lite, managing all the variables of the installation. As we see in this slide, to make this demonstration, we're going to see the screens of these two devices simultaneously. On the one hand, we will see the SCADA, and on the other hand, we will see a remote control of an Adquio screen. Let's see it. Well, here we have a window where we are doing remote control of an Adquio screen, and that we are going to move to the side so that it does not bother us excessively. Within this screen, we have a lot of controls, which, as we will see, interact with a real Casambi installation. And on the other hand, we have this SCADA, where we'll see how the actions we perform on the screen are shown on display. And finally, we will see that we also have two example controls in this SCADA, that it took place in this part, and we will see how they also work in real time on installation. So, let's then adjust this screen a little bit right here, and let's make this one a little smaller so we can see more of our plane. Let's see then that around here we have several departments of a company. Here we have a development room. Here we have some marketing area. Here we have the offices of the CTO. Or here we have a gym, a nursery, a server room, a series of offices, and so on. We will then see how acting directly in the Adquio screen we can manage the lighting of all these spaces. The first thing we will do the test of the development room. We will see that the luminaires have just been regulated, and we will put them to 100%, as you can see. Now we see that they respond almost immediately, and that the level of regulation can be observed directly on the SCADA. Let's go, for example, change the lighting of the marketing room, which is right here. We are then also going to put it at a fairly high percentage, approximately 70, 100%, and 100%. As you can see, it responds immediately on the plane. These are examples of linear luminaires, but we also have examples of luminaires that are Halloween style, for example, in the garden. If we go to the garden, we can see also change the lighting of the garden, as you can see, and we can see the level of regulation on the plane without any problem. So, what else can we do? We could do this with any state of this flat, obviously, okay? Additionally, we will be able to do things like if I play, for example, in the dining room, which is this state here, I modify it here, and I will work on all these luminaires. It is a group of 3 luminaires, one for each of the dining tables. But if I click on the dining room, we will see what happened to a plane which I have seen it closely in more detail. If I go back to the active screen, I can click to go to another control screen where we have no design. It is simple to teach how it works. And let's see that I can manage the lighting separately, each luminaire individually, okay? And I'm seeing it both in the SCADA of this particular room and general of the building. Therefore, we have the control of luminaires individually of the control of luminaires at group level, if I enter the specific control for that room, as is this case. Then we return from general control and we can manage the lighting of these rooms at the group level. This is an interesting option. And the other interesting option that we can do on the plane is that if we want, we can have information of each luminaire individually. For example, we will click on this and we will see that we have the information of all the data that the D4I protocol provides us. We have how many times this luminaire started, how many faults the luminaire has had, the current input voltage. We have the energy that is consuming, the temperature in degrees Celsius of the driver, and so on. This is an example of data that we have put. But if you need more information, you could put all the information that the drivers provide us through Casambi. Alright, so we've been seeing SCADA running. As you can see, the possibilities are endless. They also work in real time, and in this example, we're controlling the SCADA from an Adquio screen with an HMI designed specifically for this building, okay? Additionally, and of course, if you want, you can place control on the SCADA itself. As is logical, in this case, we have here an example of two controls that manages the exterior lighting. These garden beacons, if I turn it on, you will see the luminous light up. This is actually also running on the Casambi network, and of course, and additionally, if I want, I can regulate them as well. From here, I'm regulating them. As you see, they respond perfectly to my orders. Let's put it 100%, and you see they are gradually turning off according to the position of this slider, okay? You can see perfectly that you are responding immediately. These are just two examples of controls that you can use, but if we want to see all the possibilities, all we have to do is get out of this SCADA and go back to design to the editor, okay? In this editor, you're gonna see what we have here. So, the first thing, the name of the planes we're using, right? And then we have the design of this room in particular, and we have the design of those variables D4I. What do we call them? You will simply call them with an event of each of the objects. In this case, this event, when you click on the object, opens a dialog and is this dialog that you have designed with the variable of D4I, okay? Very easy. On the other hand, how do you connect these objects to variables? Well, easy. In the Properties tab, here you have the whole list of variables that come from Adquio and you will have. Simply mark it the garden object, which is to which the interior garden of this office is connected, okay? That simple. What objects do you have to design around here? Well, you have free design objects such as circles, ellipses, boxes, lines. You can upload graphics, which is what we have uploaded this background plan, or you can place text or any type and with any feature, with all kinds of alignments, fonts, and many more features. In addition, you have dynamic objects such as set item fields, masked item fields. You have progress bars, sliders, you have buttons, LEDs, statistical graphs. They also allow to represent historical data. Let's see now how. Graphics anytime and even matters. You are also you have containers to display data in tables and even containers to display websites within the SCADA itself. We will see all this in our next training courses about this SCADA. And then, how do you make this SCADA store historical data? Let's see it. For that, we will go to the configuration. We will go to the connections, and we will go in this case to our Adquio Mini. And here we have all the variables that we're managing. If we click on these points of the variable, in this case, develop, which is the programming room, we will see that at the top you have an option to record information. If this option is checked, we will have the record of this variable of the lighting of the development room every default 60 seconds. But we can change it and register it up to every 1 second if we want it. This will take up much more disk space, logically, okay? Let's look at another of these variables. How can we adapt these ranges? Do you know that in the Casambi wall dynamo luminance range, in values between 0 and 1? And how do we adapt this to connect it, for example, to a slider, whose values work between 0 and 100? Well, we simply put here that the variable of origin is 0, and that its maximum value is 1. And then the slider goes from 0 to 100, and the SCADA itself will make the conversion to return to Casambi the variable according to its criteria. But show it according to the criteria of the SCADA, alright? It is very easy to make this adaptation. Great, that's it. We have finished this small presentation for our new Adquio SCADA server. We hope you like it and we hope that it will be very useful in all your facilities. If you had any question, it's your turn.